Welcome back to JetKoa Sports. I want to start today off by congratulating Rory McIlroy for winning back-to-back Masters, something only 4 people have done in the history of golf. You got Nick Faldo, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Rory McIlroy. Awesome day for Rory. He started the tournament on fire, and after Friday was comfortably in the lead at 12 under. Then he had a rough Saturday, and it caused him to actually have to come out and battle on Sunday, and he did, and he won. He completed the Grand Slam last year when he won his first Masters to win all 4 majors, something only 6 golfers have ever done. So awesome for Rory. Congrats. It was fun to watch. Moving to the NFL, we have the NFL draft fast approaching. It is Thursday, April 23rd, and I just kind of want to talk about some of the prospects real quick. It will not be a deep dive. It's just kind of what my thoughts are heading into this draft. Jeremiah Love, running back Notre Dame, guy's a beast. He's going to be a top 10 pick. It just depends on which team's going to pull the trigger. I don't see any world in which he is not a 1,000-yard rusher, at least by year 2. On the defensive side of the ball, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, those guys look phenomenal. Sonny Styles, I know his game is still catching up because he just moved to linebacker from safety a year and a half ago or something. So he's still learning the position, but his numbers are off the chart, and he seems to be learning that position quick. The beginning of the year last year for Ohio State, he looked a little lost at times at middle linebacker, and by the end of the year, he was destroying people. Very excited to see that guy in the NFL. I think Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech, and Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, are all going to be day 1 starters. That's just how I feel. Sonny Styles, he does need to learn the position, so there is a world where he is still learning and doesn't start on day 1, but I think he will be a starter in his first year. Kenyon Sadiq, I don't know how to view this guy. He looks scary. He looks intimidating on the football field. Like, this guy is going to wreck shop on everybody. Very similar to what I felt about Kyle Pitts at Florida, but Pitts is actually doing it in college. And Kenyon Sadiq, his collegiate numbers just were not on par with Pitts. And so I do, from his athletic talent, I do kind of see him as a similar player to Kyle Pitts. And to me, Kyle Pitts has been underwhelming in the pros. So I'm a little iffy on Kenyon Sadiq in the first round. It's a high risk. Yes, there's high upside for sure. But the odds of that upside hitting, really worth a first-round pick, especially in the first half of the first round where teams have a lot of holes. I could see a team late in the first taking a flyer on him if they need a tight end or another pass catcher or just a difference maker, and they think he could be that. But top 15, top 20, I think that's a reach. And Kyle Pitts is who he can blame for that. Kyle Pitts is a fantastic player, by the way. He just had a very good year. His rookie season was very good. He just had a couple years in between that where Atlanta didn't really use him. And I don't know why Atlanta didn't use him. It might just be the play calling, the quarterback, and have nothing to do with Kyle Pitts. So I apologize, but to me, he has underachieved. And so it's hard for me to look at Sadiq as a major first-round talent. Carnell Tate and Makai Lemon, on the other hand, those guys should be very productive in year 1. Wide receiver is a position that translates a lot easier to the NFL. Like edge rusher, wide receivers, those guys can come in year 1 and make a pretty big impact. And Ohio State has proven to be wide receiver U. So I expect Carnell Tate to come in and ball. His numbers were good. He didn't play a full season. And he's got He's got to learn the NFL game, but I feel that he's going to come in and be a very good wide receiver. Mekhi, I mean, he could be extremely dangerous if he goes to the right spot. That guy in the slot will be a beast. And Schrager has him going 13th to the LA Rams because of a trade. I don't know where all that's coming from. But if he went to the Rams, that would be huge. And Mekhi would be extremely dangerous in year one. They got a good wide receiver core. They got a great team. They got a good defense. That could be a fantastic pick for that offense. Okay, leaving the draft, but sticking with wide receivers. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Eagles situation. I think the whole A.J. Brown situation comes down to value and the draft, right? Like they were waiting till June 1 so they could save a little bit of money, supposedly. We don't really know. And I think that is part of it, right? You don't want to have a huge dead money cap when you can just wait a little while. And A.J. Brown is extremely talented. There will be suitors before and after the June 1st deadline. Now, while we're waiting for all this, the Eagles went out and added Elijah Moore and Marquise Hollywood Brown, and they also traded for Dontavian Wicks from Green Bay. That wide receiver room is getting pretty full. So I do expect something to happen with AJ. I'm not quite sure when or what. I honestly think they might wait until after the draft because maybe they take another wide receiver in the draft as well. And so then AJ's for sure gone. Maybe they trade him during the draft to move around. I'm very curious to see, but it does seem to me that A.J. Brown will be leaving Philadelphia. And I think that's a good thing for A.J., a good thing for the Eagles. They've been having this back and forth for a couple years now, and I think everybody just needs a clean start. Moving to the NBA, I've been covering the playoff teams for the past 2 weeks, and I've gone through seeds 1 through 6 in both conferences. Today, I'm just going to batch together all the playoff teams, or the play-in teams, because that's what's going to happen this week. And then I'll come back in a week, and I'll make my actual playoff predictions on 4/20. That's when I'll be recording. In the Eastern Conference, we have the 76ers taking on the Magic, and the Hornets taking on the Heat. The 76ers versus the Magic is the 7-8 seed game, so the winner of that locks the playoff, locks the 7 seed, right? And then the winner of the Hornets versus Heat matchup gets to play the Magic or the 76ers, the loser of that game, in the ultimate final playoff spot seeding. I'm going to go through and just kind of talk about the weaknesses of these East teams real quick, and then I'll kind of say what I think or who I think will win. Let's start with the Orlando Magic. Just very inconsistent shooting team. They have trouble creating shots. Defensively, they have trouble sticking with teams that like to run with a high-paced offense. Like the game is moving a little bit too fast for them. They are young, so it's very much can be a youth thing. Again, like it's a good team defense, but they get just frazzled by people that are running the court, moving the ball quickly, and they foul a lot in those games. They also have way too many turnovers. They're young. That's going to happen. But, yeah, I was watching the game this weekend, and 4 possessions in a row were lost on a turnover. They just were throwing the ball away to the stands. Like, they're missing their guy. Their guy was moving off the spot, and then they turned to throw it to him. Like, they don't seem to be gelling at the most important time of the season. 76ers, their weaknesses, first of all these playoff teams have had troubles with injuries. And when you have trouble with injuries, it's going to make it harder for you to win games, make it harder for your team to play consistently. And so all of these teams, that's one of their weaknesses. They're just too injured. But the 76ers, they lack front court depth behind Embiid. They really do. They don't really have outside shooting. Maxey can shoot a little bit, but like they don't really hit that many threes. They lack playmaking ability outside of Maxey. If he's not on the court, there's not a whole lot of ball movement and exciting things going on. But they might be getting healthy at the right time. Embiid did just have, I don't know, appendicitis or something, so we'll keep an eye on that. But if Paul, Embiid, and Maxey are on the floor healthy at the same time, that team can be dangerous. And, yeah, they would not be a fun matchup in the first round of the playoffs. Charlotte Hornets. I really like the Hornets. I like LaMelo. I really do. But they're young. They lack playoff experience. They have trouble stopping elite ball handlers. Their defense is not the greatest at the point of attack. They lack playmaking ability outside of LaMelo. When he's not on the court, they're pretty stagnant. Ultimately, I think their youth is what bites them. But I do like the talent that they got building there. Miami Heat, their defense is struggling. They're normally a very disciplined and good defensive team. Spoelstra is a genius. Like, they're usually pretty solid, but they're struggling this year, especially later in the year. They lost what consistency and confidence they had on the defensive end. They lack size and rebounding. They give up way too many second chance points. It's hard for them to defend the paint. It kind of seems like they traded Jimmy Butler and they didn't really decide where they wanted to go from there, right? Like, I don't know what the plan is in Miami. I don't know what kind of team they're trying to build besides, Spoelstra being disciplined and knowing basketball. But I don't know who they're trying to, play their offense through. They're extremely reliant on Bam. I love Bam, but he's not the elite offensive player that you want to run everything through. I know he scored 83, and good for him, but they need somebody else. Ultimately, I think the 76ers are going to win their game, which locks them into the 7 seed, and they're going to be a tough fight for the Celtics. They're going to give them some trouble if everybody's healthy on the 76ers. Let's see what happens with Embiid. I do feel that the Heat will beat the Hornets because of that youth that I talked about in Charlotte. And Miami has gone through this situation. It seems like almost every year they're in the play-in, and almost every year they win the 8 seed, and then go on and actually give people trouble in the playoffs, make it to the finals in a couple cases. Very strange team, the Heat, and Spoelstra gets them playing well in the playoffs. So I do think they'll beat the Hornets, but ultimately I think they lose to the Magic in the second game. And Magic will earn the 8th seed. And an all-blue matchup with Detroit. I will have fun watching that. I think Detroit wins that easy, and I'll talk more about that next week. Moving to the West. Game 1 is the Suns versus the Blazers. That's the 7-8 seed. And then Clippers versus the Warriors is the 9-10 matchup. Suns got Devin Booker, right? They got a dude. They got an elite scorer. But as a team, they can't rebound. They lack size in the paint. Don't really have a paint presence. The offense is pretty stagnant. Even when Booker, it's not like he's a big assist guy anymore. It seems that the ball does not move a whole lot on that team. And they don't make free throws. So, they don't even take free throws because they're not driving to the hole. They're just kind of shooting jumpers. They need to diversify their offensive game. And their defense struggles with size because of that, lack of a paint presence. And protecting the rim is not a strength. The Blazers, poor 3-point shooting team. They don't really have a dude in clutch time that you would trust and want to go to with 10 seconds on the clock or 2 minutes left and you're down 4. You need points and valuable possessions every single time. I don't really know who that guy is on Portland. I think they're still looking for him. They're also a young roster. And because of that, they're inconsistent in the big moments. They don't have a veteran, or they don't even have an elite scorer that they can turn to for answers. So it forces them to be inconsistent. Turnover heavy. And they have a strong paint D. Like, they're good in the interior, but they are weak on the perimeter. And in today's age of three-point shooting and amazingly athletic 6'9" wings, that's a problem. Clippers. They're old. Sorry to laugh at that, but they're old. They don't have a whole lot of front court depth. They don't have a lot of shot creation outside of Kawhi. And the bench is inconsistent, to put it nicely. The Warriors, though, match a lot of these weaknesses. The Warriors are also old. They lack size and rim protection, not just the front court depth. They struggle defending at the point of attack with good ball handlers. Their secondary options are pretty limited after Curry. And they're not making free throws, which is not good come playoff time. Ultimately, in the West, I have the Clippers winning and getting the 7 seed. And then I have Phoenix beating Portland in their matchup, and then the Warriors beating Phoenix. So the Clippers as your 7 seed, the Warriors as your 8th seed. Moving to the MLB. Update on the power rankings. We got the Dodgers in first, the Braves in second, Padres third, Diamondbacks, Guardians, and then I'm going to just add the Pirates, who snuck in at number 6. Very excited about that for Pittsburgh. Much different than last week, which it's very early in the season. That's going to happen. The Dodgers deserve to be number 1. They got the best record in baseball. I think they're 11-3 as of this recording. Fantastic. I was actually able to turn on their game on Sunday from opening pitch, and Ohtani led off with a homer. Probably the only game I need to watch all season, because the Dodgers did what they always do. Ohtani homered, and then they dominated. I will watch more, but that's what we can expect all year. My Yankees lost 5 straight, and they deserve to be off this power ranking list. Their bullpen is a mess. They need a lot of answers in the bullpen. The offense shuts down too often, and they just can't hit the ball, don't even lift the bat off their shoulders at times. The AL East is a jumbled mess right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how these managers start to line up their rosters, who they're sending out there, when they're pulling guys. It's going to be very interesting. And bullpens are getting tired already in the AL East. It's going to be a long year for those bullpens. So what about these rankings? Did we get anything right? I think I'm going to go over 2 teams that I think will stick around, and that's the Padres and the Pirates. The Padres are looking tough right now, and the reason is to think that it'll continue. They're playing just talented. They always have been. They just happen to play in the Dodgers division, so it's kind of hard for them to win the division, and then they're battling for wild cards. Fernando Tatis is a Gold Glove right fielder that mashes, and he hasn't even started to hit for power yet, and the Padres are winning. Jackson Merrill, another very talented outfielder, he hasn't hit anything yet, and he will. And the Padres are still winning. Manny Machado, Hall of Famer, is having a slow start to the season, and that's going to change. He's a Hall of Famer. Manny Machado has been doing this for a long time now, and the Padres are still winning during his slump. All those things are going to change in the Padres' favor, so they should get better. Michael King is a very good pitcher. I was pissed the Yankees got rid of him, even if it was for Soto. Randy Vasquez has been fantastic, which I did not see him coming, even if it's been like short spurts. The bullpen is great. The Padres are going to be here for a while. I think their rotation is might be slightly overperforming right now, and that's what has to continue. That's the major thing that has to continue for the Padres to be in the top 5, 6 teams come into the season. The Pirates are also looking tough, and reasons to think it will continue are aplenty. You got Paul Skeens, you got Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin might be hitting 138 right now, but the dude is an athlete, and he is going to be fine. O'Neal Cruz is a monster. If he puts together a full season with his skill set, watch out, America. Currently, he's hitting 339, 400 on base percentage, 644 slugging, and a 1.044 OPS. Those are fantastic numbers, especially for your center fielder. Yeah, your teams are going to love that. But also, watch out. His defense will come back to bite you in the end. We saw that on opening day. He had 2 pretty terrible errors that led to Paul Skeens having the worst outing of his career. Pirates' new signings have been fantastic. Ryan O'Hearn hitting 333, 419 on base percentage, 968 OPS, 3 homers, 12 RBIs. Fantastic. That's the kind of additions you want to make. Brandon Lowe, also an addition, not having as great of a season as O'Hearn, but he's right there, hitting 245 on base, 373, slugging 592, and an OPS of 965. Fantastic numbers for the 2 guys you brought in to help the offense. I honestly, I like Schwarber, and the Pirates were going at him hard. I'm happy they ended up with O'Hearn and Brandon Lowe. Pittsburgh's pitching is good. Mitch Keller is a great number 2 starter. Ashcraft is dealing. Carmen, I don't know how to pronounce this, Miozinski is looking really good, although they're keeping his outings short. But he's looking good. And then the bullpen additions of Gregory Soto and Jose Urquidy make the Pirates look smart. All of their additions are contributing and helping them win games. The bullpen looks capable of holding on to leads when the offense can get it to them, when the starters can hand it over to them. And Skeens is the best pitcher in the NL, hands down. Pittsburgh is going to be around all season, and if it wasn't for Milwaukee, they would have a decent chance of winning this NL Central. Thank you all for joining JetKoa Sports today. I'm going to kind of do this where I just talk about the things I want to talk about in each sports league. I was trying to cover top stories of the week, but they don't all interest me. So I'm going to stick with what I'm interested in, and I appreciate y'all joining me. Please subscribe if you like the content, and I'll leave another video up here if you want to check out some more of that content. Y'all have a great night.